Hola, hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo están?
Muy bien.
Excelente, excelente. I hope that you got to rest a bit with the day off. And so we are going to have a quick review of the hour, telling time in Spanish. And then we're going to complete our practice exam, which is the same as, not the same, but very, very much like the official exam you will take on Thursday. We will not have class on Thursday. You will use that time to complete the exam. And so I have already posted the same exam we complete today together. You have it assigned for homework due Wednesday, together with a quiz on vocabulary. I cannot overemphasize the importance of knowing your vocabulary, page 38. Vocabulary, I could almost say that it's like, as they say, it's 90% of the battle. Not quite, but almost. So I'll take questions here after we get done with some of this review. But if you have questions now, I can answer questions now. Do you have questions? No? All right.
Yes, I have some questions.
Jenny, tell me.
I just came on, so I apologize if you've already gone over some of this stuff, but I wanted to know if there's a study guide for your test.
Your study guide is what we're doing today here,
Okay.
and your practice exam, because that is what's going to be in the exam. So I always say that my practice exam functions the same as a study guide, because it tells you exactly what's going to be in the official exam.
Okay, so I guess I missed that there was going to be a practice exam.
Yeah, it's already assigned.
Okay.
We'll complete it. We will complete it here together in a minute together. And that same exam has been assigned for you to complete individually. You will have 4 attempts to complete the practice exam. However, the official exam obviously is just 1 attempt and it will be timed. Also, I'm not going to be using Examity for this one because I have not worked out all the bugs on Examity. But we will start using Examity with the second exam. Any other questions?
I think that answered my other 2. I was wondering if it was timed and if there was going to be a link for Examity.
Not for this one. And this one is one that I feel comfortable that there will not be any unethical behavior. It would also allow me to assess that. And I rather err on my side and not on your side, because if I try to do Examity and there are bugs that haven't been worked out, then you'll be more anxious, and I don't want that, okay? So we're gonna use the time the best we can. I do want to go over most of the practice exam. We're going to leave 2 exercises that you've already practiced with the homework and with the in-class work. So let's start by asking the date. And since Jenny is already on, why don't you ask the question and then I'll have somebody reply. Ask what day is today? Which is today's date?
¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy?
Muy bien, and I'm gonna use my roster here. Start with, so Jenny asked the question, and then do we have DJ present today? Is she with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so would you answer the question? It's right here. So this one. Hoy es
Hoy es, do I say 8 or do I say?
ocho.
Okay.
Ujú.
Hoy es el 8 de septiembre del año
Año
2020.
2020, right? So everyone repeat. Hoy es
Hoy
Hoy
es
es
el 8 de septiembre
El
el
8
8 de septiembre
del año
Del
del
año
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 2020.
2020.
2020.
Remember, in Spanish, we spell the whole number, so we're saying 2020. We're not saying 2020, we're saying 2000. Repitan, 2020.
2020.
Muy bien.
Veinte.
So, buenas tardes, ¿qué tal? Hoy hace sol, hace calor. What am I saying there? ¿Qué digo? ¿Qué digo?
Sol, I know is sun, so I said
Ajá.
very sunny, maybe.
Sunny.
Today is sunny.
And do any of you know what calor is?
Hot.
Hot, very warm. And so start paying attention as to the verbs that we, notice that we're not using the verb ser, we're using a different verb because when we tell what the weather does, literally we use the verb for do or make, what the weather does or what the weather makes. And so hacer means to do or to make, and we're giving agency to the weather. So this is the verb that we use. And so repitan, hoy hace sol,
Hoy
Hoy
hace
hace sol.
hace calor.
Hace calor.
calor.
By the way, it's the same verb, although spelled slightly different that they use in French. In French, they will do, this is what the weather does, right? So we're quickly gonna review the time. Recuerden que nuestro referente, a referent is la hora. La hora is a feminine noun. And so to tell time, we only use es la for the 1 hour, right? Because for all the others, we're gonna use the plural form of the verb and the plural form of the article for horas. So if we were gonna say, for instance, 1:20 p.m., decimos, es la una, right? And then we add the minutes, right? And then we tell what time of the day, what period, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. So this is how we would say it. If you ask somebody qué hora es, and this is the time that happened to be, this is what they would say. Repitan, es la una.
Es la
Es
una.
la una.
Y 20 minutos
Y 20
20 minutos
de la tarde.
de la tarde.
And so a student asked me a very common question. When do you know the switch between afternoon and evening? And it's different in the Spanish-speaking world. If it's still light out there, if there's still light, it's gonna be afternoon, tarde. But if it's dark, then it's gonna be noche, which is different from here, because here it could be summertime and it could be 5 o'clock. When I first arrived here, it was August, and they were having the nightly local news at 5. And I'm like, the evening news, the nightly news. How come night, right? And it was very sunny out there. So it's different in the Spanish speaking world. So that's the difference.
I have
And
a
so,
question.
sí, señor Chandler.
So is the 24-hour clock ever used in for Spanish?
Yes,
Like,
just like the military time, it's very similar because we go by the hour, right? And we do use it. It's used more in official time and military time, but in regular, everyday language, we use this form.
okay, thank you.
So for the rest of the hours, we're going to use this other formula, son las, because it's more than one, and it's referred in our verb and in reflected in our verb in our article. So if it were 10:10 p.m., which is already dark by then, we would say, repeat after me, son las 10.
Son las
Son las 10
y 10
10
de la noche.
de la noche.
So to the hour, we add minutes, usually all the way till the half hour with this word, which means and. Or after the half hour, we subtract to the next hour with the word menos. And we spoke about that, but we'll practice here in a minute. Some keywords that we need to memorize, and you've already been using some of them. Repitan, de la mañana.
De la mañana.
De la tarde.
De la
tarde.
De la noche.
de la noche.
So you use this expression to tell the period of time in the day when you're telling the exact time, such as we did here. We said de la tarde, de la noche. You only use en la mañana or en la tarde when you're only in general speaking about in the morning, in the afternoon, as a general, like, when do you exercise? I exercise in the morning, right? You're not given a specific time. And the reason I'm telling you that is because many of you want to substitute de for en when you're telling time, and that is not correct, okay? So stick to the de for now. We'll get into the en later on. Another important word is cuarto. Notice how it's very similar to cuatro, but these two are reversed. And it's very commonly used to reflect a quarter of an hour or 15 minutes. You can use one or the other. So repitan, cuarto.
Cuarto.
Quince.
Quince.
For media means a half hour, is very commonly used. Repitan, media.
Media.
Or you can actually state 30 minutes. Repitan, 30.
30.
Did I tell you which is the most commonly used?
You said that media and
Cuarto. Mhm.
cuarto is, yeah.
Very common. So that's why it's important that you know, because it could throw you off if you were not aware of this. If you ask somebody and say, oh, son las 8:15. What? What's cuarto, right? One that I forgot to mention is en punto. It's literally on the dot, period, on the dot. Make sure that you pronounce the end, because if you drop the end, you're telling a bad word. So, repitan, en punto.
En
Punto.
And two very important expressions that do away with these other formulas. It's like, instead of saying it's 12 p.m. in the afternoon, you simply say it's noon, right? It's noon. Repitan, es el mediodía.
Es el mediodía.
So that replaces the other formula with 3 words. Or it's midnight. This one, repitan, es la medianoche.
Es
la
medianoche.
And so with that, why is it singular? Why is it L? Because this is singular. masculine, and this is singular feminine. So this is el and this is la. Once again, es el mediodía.
Es
Es
el
el
mediodía.
mediodía.
Es la medianoche.
Es
Es
la
Es la
medianoche.
medianoche.
Muy bien. So let's practice a bit. First, we're going to answer the question, ¿qué hora es? Which asks, what time is it, right? What's the hour? And versus, ¿a qué hora es? Which asks, at what hour is an event? So here we have times and we have events here. So let's see who was next on the, so DJ already, Nakaya. Let's see if you can tell me the hour following this formula that I put up here for this. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es, Nakaya? ¿Qué hora es? So would you start with es or with son?
Son.
Okay. So then it's las, right?
Mhm.
What's next?
Son las 3:15.
Ajá. De la mañana,
Tarde.
tarde. Excelente, excelente. Repitan clases. Son las 3
Son
Las
3:15
y 15
Y
de la tarde.
de
de
la
la tarde.
Could we have said y cuarto?
¿Sí?
Sí, muy bien, excelente. So who do we have? And as I call your name, then I also mark you present for attendance. Do we have Cameron Brown present today? Cameron Brown. No? Cole Brown. Cole, are you here, Cole? Cole Brown? Cole?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Cole, so let's see if you can tell us the next time, which is 8:27 a.m. What do we want to start with? Son or es?
Son las.
Son las, and then what else?
Ocho
Ocho.
y 27
Ajá. De la,
de la 10.
de la
Sorry.
mañana. De la-
Mañana, sorry.
No, you're good. Mañana. ¿Clase es correcto?
Sí.
Sí, muy bien.
I have a
Excelente.
question.
Sí, Chandler.
Could you instead say like media and then say like menos tres or not tres? Sorry, that's French.
Is no, you only use media when it's actually the actual half hour.
Okay, thank you.
Muy bien. So then the next one, we have 12 a.m. and we have Latasha. Is Latasha here? I know that she was sick. Is she here? No? She's still sick. Harmony. Courtright. Casey Faber.
I'm here.
Okay. So, ¿qué hora es? And it's 12 a.m. You can spell it all out. I don't wanna, what did I just do? You can spell it all out, or you can use one of these expressions, either one.
Would I just say es la medianoche?
Ajá, muy bien, excelente. You can say son las 12 de la,
Punta.
en punto, son las 12 en punto de la noche. So either one or the other, okay? Move this over here. Y después tenemos las 6:15 here. Let's do this one. 6:15 p.m. and let's have Paulina. Is Lena Ferguson here? Lena? Or Lina, I don't know how you pronounce your Ferguson? No? Alexis Garcia. No. Casey Gray. I guess not. Josie.
Yes.
So 6:15 p.m. How would we say that?
Okay. This. Y 15.
Okay, so but you have to start with son las 6 y
15 de la.
I would say tarde because it's not dark yet, is it?
Not around this time.
Not around this time, but if it were winter, we would probably say noche. Okay. Gracias, Josie. And then we have Brianne Hohe. Is she here? No. Cecil, are you here? Cecil? Wesley? No.
I'm here.
Oh, Wesley is here.
Yeah.
So how do we say the next one? And pay attention because it's past the half hour. So we would have to go to the next hour in order to deduct. So what do we want? Son las?
Son las 9.
But don't you want to go to the next hour so you can
right.
subtract? So son las 10.
Yeah, son las 10.
And then how do we say minus?
Yeah, I just got my access back after like a week and a half, so haven't been
Okay,
able to.
so son las 10 menos 20, right? We're subtracting to 9:40 right here. So it's 20 minutes, right? 20 de la noche, because by then it's dark. ¿Sí, clase?
Sí.
All right. So that was Wesley. And then Jenny, the last one, 7:30 a.m.
Son las 7
Ajá. Y
y 30 de la mañana.
Excelente. Muy bien. So as you see, with the 9:40, is it clear to everyone why with the 9:40 we go to the next hour? Somebody tell me, why did we start with 10 and not with 9? Right here, son las 10.
Because it's 10 minus the 20 minutes.
Right, because we're subtracting to the following hour. So that's, gracias, Rihanna. Muchas gracias. And then make sure that you remember this, you study these expressions. And so questions on the time, telling time?
Can you go over again when you do the ESLA, it's between 12 and 1?
No, it's only when it's 1. So
only when it's 1.
You
So
start with, when you starting with 1 and you're adding to the 1 hour minutes.
so you get to 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or even if you're adding, when you learn the higher numbers, we only know up to 30 now. But even if, let's say that you want to say es la 1:40, right? 1 and 40 minutes, which is possible to do, although it's more common to subtract after the half hour. But it would always, if you're starting with the 1 hour, it's always going to be es la.
Okay.
Because it's singular.
Right.
Simply
so what if we don't know the hours up to 30? Do we need to know them before we take the test?
No, because we're only learning right now. We're only learning 0 to 30.
So we do need to know up to 30?
Yes,
Okay.
but not after that, because those are coming. Trust me, we're gonna learn all the way to million. All right, so then we have the question, ¿a qué hora es? Notice the emphasis on a. At what hour is la clase, las noticias locales, tu programa favorito? So class, local news, your favorite program. And when that question begins like so, then you're no longer asking the time, you're asking at what time is an event, and the time is no longer your subject is the event, and that's where you start with, and all you have to do is add a las, so let's say that I ask, ¿a qué hora es la clase? ¿A qué hora es la clase? So the way that you would answer that, you would start with your subject, which is la clase, and es, because la clase agrees with es, because it's singular, third person singular. And then don't forget your a, because many of you forget it, and then your article and the hour. So at what hour is our class? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What hour? 4 de la tarde. Repitan, la clase.
La clase.
Clase.
A las 4 de la tarde.
A las 4 de la
Tarde.
What some students do is this, and you're gonna tell me what. Many students do this. Why do you think? Why do you think they do this?
The
Because-
lots.
They use,
They're telling me the
Okay.
time, right? Instead of telling me at what time, they're using this formula, right? For this question.
Mhm.
And would that be correct?
No.
No.
So I understand why you get confused, and I want to erase this badly because it's incorrect. I don't want to reinforce incorrect. But let's practice again with ¿a qué hora es? And in this case, it would be son because it's plural. ¿A qué hora son las noticias locales? So we would start with our subject, which is the local news, right? News local, that's how we reverse noun and adjective. It's not incorrect, that's how it goes. And since it's plural, you use son, and then again, don't forget your a. And somebody tell me, at what hour are the evening news?
5 o'clock?
Okay,
5.
5.
5 de la tarde.
and there you're done. And now tell me, why did we use son here?
Because
It
there's-
doesn't have to do with the hours, it has to do with the subject.
there's not just one
Because
local
local news is plural. See what I'm saying? Okay, let's do the next one. And the next one, we'll see what form of the verb we're gonna use. ¿A qué hora es tu programa favorito? And so, mi programa favorito, singular or plural?
Singular.
So what form of the
Singular.
verb be would we use?
Es.
Okay.
Es, and then don't forget your a. And let's ask Rihanna, ¿a qué hora es tu programa favorito? And if you don't remember, just make a time, make up a time.
Okay. Mi programa favorito es a 5.
A las 5
Hasta las 5.
de la tarde. See how, don't forget your article, don't forget your a. They're very important part of the formula. So let's repeat. Oh, and now tell me, why is it here son and here is?
Because son is plural and es is singular.
Right, but
Oh.
why did we use son that's plural and here singular? What is it agreeing with?
Singular subject.
Right. This is agreeing with the plural subject, which is the local news, and this is agreeing with the singular subject, which is favorite program. ¿Sí? Ok. Repitan, las noticias locales
Las noticias locales
son a las 5 de la tarde.
son a las 5 de la tarde.
Mi programa favorito
Mi programa
favorito
es a las 5 de la tarde.
es las 5 de la tarde.
Muy bien. Entonces, preguntas, questions between, in the difference between these two questions or any other aspect of telling time and or at what time something happens. Anyone?
I have a question.
Chandler?
Do we always capitalize the A there? And
No,
you just
I'm
erased it.
sorry. I capitalize it for emphasis only. Good question. No, Chandler, we don't. It's just that that's
Okay.
one letter or one word. It's a word means at that is often dropped. And that's why I emphasized it. Thank you for asking. Any other questions? Okay, I can't wait to do the practice exam. So again, your official exam that you will take on Thursday, and we will not meet for a class on Thursday. You'll use the class time to complete your exam. It's not going to be, you can take it during the day, but you'll have that time to dedicate to study your exam. It's going to look the same exact way, except this is going to say F. Of course, it's going to be somewhat different, but the items and the nature and the focus and the vocabulary is going to be the same. With the listening part, we're going to listen to it here 4 times. If you, for some reason, are getting anxious and you're not progressing with it, then move along, complete other sections that are easier, and then come back because you can listen to it as many times as the time allows you. Okay? So the strategy, very important to have a strategy always. Find out what type of message or text you're going to be listening to, or narration. Here it says some items were left behind in a classroom, so that's your setting. Read the questions, listen to the voicemail. So it's a voicemail from the custodian. So he's in a school and he's calling someone because some items were left behind in a classroom. That is your setting. So start getting acquainted with that. Then read the questions and the answers to see what information am I listening for? What am I hearing, right? What am I gonna tune my ear for, right? So let's have, who's next? Jenny. Do we have Christopher Jester? Is Christopher here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, would you read the first question and don't worry about pronunciation, I'll help you.
All right. You want me to read what's in parentheses?
No.
Okay. Para quien es el mensaje?
Muy bien, muy bien. So for whom is the message? And good pronunciation.
Gracias.
Para los estudiantes, para el profesor Valdivia, para el profesor Martínez. So these are your choices. So I would even sound it out. Repitan, para los estudiantes.
Para
los estudiantes.
Para el profesor Valdivia.
Para
El profesor
Valdivia.
Valdivia.
Para el profesor Martínez.
Para el profesor
Profesor
Martínez.
Martínez.
So that's for whom the message is. You're going to have to hear for that. So let's have Austin. Do we have Austin Massey here today?
Yes.
Would you read the número dos, number 2 question?
¿Cuántos videos hay en el laboratorio?
Muy bien, buen trabajo. Good work. Repitan,
Gracias.
4 videos,
4 videos.
videos.
20 videos,
20 videos.
3 videos.
3 videos.
Muy bien. So evidently somebody must have left some videos or something. So we need to hear how many of them. Número 3, Emily Matlock. Do we have her here, Emily?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, número 3, por favor.
¿Cuántos diccionarios hay?
Muy bien. Repitan, 2 diccionarios,
Dos.
Diccionarios.
4 diccionarios,
4 diccionarios.
un diccionario.
Un diccionario.
So listen for dictionaries and how many of them. Número 4, do we have Mark Miller? Mark.
Yes.
Número 4, por favor, Mark.
¿De quién son los cuadernos?
Muy bien, excelente. Repitan, de los estudiantes.
De los
estudiantes.
Del profesor Martínez.
Del
profesor Martínez.
Del profesor Valdivia.
Profesor Valdivia.
So remind me what this means, although you did have one homework, and I told you that quién means who. So what is this question asking?
Whose
It's
notebook?
asking
To
who
whom?
of,
Yeah.
right? In English, you would
Yeah.
say, how would you say that in English?
Whose are these notebooks?
But in Spanish, you say de quién, of who, right? So repitan, ¿de quién son los cuadernos?
¿De
¿De quién son los
cuadernos?
cuadernos?
So, and we already repeated the choices. And the last one is simply, ¿qué hora es? Right? So repitan, las 5:30,
Las
5:30.
las 3,
Las 3.
las 9:15.
Las
9:15.
And you know, when you leave a voicemail, oftentimes, especially older people like myself, before you had you know the register, you know, when we had those answering machines and they didn't have a way to register the time when you call, and you would say, Linda, this is Rosario. It's now 1:20 in the afternoon, right? So that's what this guy is saying. He's telling what time it is. So let's listen carefully. Don't rush. Just relax and listen.
Buenos días, profesor Martínez. ¿Cómo está? Soy Mauricio Valdivia. Hay 4 videos, unos cuadernos y un diccionario en el laboratorio. Los cuadernos son de los estudiantes, pero ¿de quién son los videos y el diccionario? Son las 9:15 de la mañana. Estoy en la escuela hasta las 5:30 y mañana de 10 de la mañana a 3 de la tarde. Gracias.
I'm sorry. Can you hear my dog?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I have the door closed, but I don't know what's bothering him. Let's listen again.
Buenos días, profesor Martínez. ¿Cómo está? Soy Mauricio Valdivia. Hay 4 videos, unos cuadernos y un diccionario en el laboratorio. Los cuadernos son de los estudiantes, pero ¿de quién son los videos y el diccionario? Son las 9:15 de la mañana. Estoy en la escuela hasta las 5:30 y mañana de 10 de la mañana a 3 de la tarde. Gracias.
All right. Let's listen again.
Buenos días, profesor Martínez. ¿Cómo está? Soy Mauricio Valdivia. Hay 4 videos, unos cuadernos y un diccionario en el laboratorio. Los cuadernos son de los estudiantes, pero ¿de quién son los videos y el diccionario? Son las 9:15 de la mañana. Estoy en la escuela hasta las 5:30 y mañana de 10 de la mañana a 3 de la tarde. Gracias.
So let's see if we can, I'm so sorry that we are being disturbed by my dog of all days. So let's see who would be next and see if Rebecca, ¿para quién es el mensaje? Who is he addressing?
Para el profesor Martínez.
¿Clase?
Sí.
Sí, muy bien. Chandler, ¿cuántos videos hay en el laboratorio? Chandler.
¿Cuarto?
Sí, muy bien. Rihanna, ¿cuántos diccionarios hay?
I think it was un.
Sí, muy bien. Un diccionario. Aaron Scott is not here, right? I think he emailed me. And William, ¿de quién son los cuadernos?
Was it de los estudiantes?
Yeah, I clicked on it. Yes, very good. And it was an accident there. And back to DJ. ¿Qué hora es, DJ? He says it's a specific time when he's talking. ¿Qué hora es?
I think he said last 5:30.
This one or this
Yeah,
one?
no.
Las 9:15. Does he say 9:15, clase?
I know he said 9. I didn't hear the last part though.
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard.
He also said cinco too, I thought.
Well, he said I'm gonna be here until from this time until this time. That's why it's very important that you really narrow down to the specific information, because there is no way that you're gonna understand every single word. This is so you can start training your ear, and that's why I always like to give the students a practice exam so they can get used to it, and so that the regular exam will be not as anxious. And you did very well, and it's really, in my opinion, not extremely challenging. And the next one is vocabulary, and like I said, vocabulary is like 90% of the battle. So you simply match the phrase, match the sentence fragments correctly. And so we have Nakaya next. What do
I have a questions on the audio. Would the audio text be put in the exam as well?
Oh, that's going to be there. The audio
Okay.
is going to be there. You're going to have access to it.
Okay.
That's why at the beginning I said, if at first it's giving you trouble and you're spending too much time on the listening part, I would move on to complete other parts and then come back and repeat it as many times as you need to. Okay? Did that answer your question, William?
Sí.
Okay. Nakaya, número 1.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana, clase.
Sí.
Sí.
Cameron Brown is not here. Did we say, did he make it, Cameron Brown? Then we're gonna move on to Cole Brown.
Nos vemos, Jose Luis.
Muy bien, excelente. Good pronunciation of Jose Luis, excelente. Latasha's not here. Casey Favor. Casey Faber.
Sorry, I had it on mute. Buenas noches, Señora Sánchez.
Excelente, gracias. Lena Ferguson. Alexis Garcia. Casey Gray. Josie.
Yeah. Let me see. Saludos noches, maybe? Señor something?
We already used that one. So saludos a means greetings to.
Okay, so maybe Mary, Carmen, y Claudia?
Excelente, excelente. Interesting that this was the one that gave trouble to my students in my earlier class. And so that's why I tell you vocabulary, vocabulary, vocabulary. Brian, no. Cecil. Wesley.
¿Cómo está usted?
¿Cómo está usted? Muy bien, excelente. So as you see, if you study your vocabulary, this is not too challenging. So study your vocab, page 38, page 38. This is pretty much, you order, in this case, you ordered the line. So again, knowing the vocabulary. And so rather than try to ascertain, and here's what I mean by being a good strategizer. Instead of trying to deal with the first line and see what number it is, I would just get acquainted with the totality and see which one would be the first one and start that way. So we have, who would be next? Jenny.
Hola, Simón, ¿cómo está?
Muy bien. Excelente. Christopher, what would be the next one?
Hola, Sofía, regular.
Bien, good pronunciation. Oh, I'm so proud. Regular. Muy bien. So that was Christopher. Austin. Número 3.
Ella de nuevo.
Muy bien. Emily, número 4.
Nada.
Muy bien. And should we just all say ciao for number 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So again, if you know your vocab, you shouldn't have any problems. Preguntas? Problemas?
No.
We're going to skip this one to save time. This is basically your numbers and knowing what this means and telling whether it's correct or incorrect. And so let's just do the first one. So 7 times 4 is what?
28.
28. So this would be?
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
Correcto.
Incorrecto.
And so we're going to skip it so that we focus on things that are more important, like the next. The next is the verb ser. And so let me bring my text box here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Right here, I'm going to write the forms, but you should know this because this is not going to be there for you. So those are the singular form, and those are the plural forms of the verb ser, sí o no? See? So when we have an object or an entity such as the capital of, oops, the capital of Spain, the capital of Spain is not a subject, but it is because it's an entity, a capital. And when it's singular, it's gonna be a third party, and it would take this form of the verb is. But then like you see here, no, where is it? Diccionario, so it would also be es. If this was a plural, let's say that instead of un diccionario were unos diccionarios, then you wouldn't use es, you would use son because it would be plural third person plural. ¿Sí? ¿Comprenden? ¿Sí o no?
Sí.
Sí.
For things that are not people, entities, objects, if it's singular, you use es. If it's plural, you use son. Okay? And so with the first one, I think, who was the last one? Emily? I forgot. I think Austin was the last one. So Emily, what would you put here in the blank for
Would it be son?
Madrid is, Madrid what?
Son?
It's just one. It's singular.
No.
So you find it here at the top line.
Es.
Es. Can you read the whole sentence, please?
Madrid es la capital de
De
España.
Excelente. So you don't use son because it's singular, okay? Now let's have Mark. We have Julieta y sus padres and her parents. So make sure that you pay attention to see if you don't have a combined subject here. Because Julieta is not just her, the subject is not just one person, it's they, Julieta, and her parents. So Mark.
Would it be ellos?
It would be ellos, but they're not asking us to give the subject pronoun. They're asking us to do the appropriate form of ser. So you need to pick
son.
one of this. Son. Would you read the entire sentence, please?
Julieta y sus padres son de Puerto Rico.
Excelente. Muy bien. Rebeca, número 3, por favor. Nosotros.
Somos,
Read the entire sentence, please.
nosotros somos estudiantes de la Universidad de Salamanca.
Ajá, muy bien. So that's a university in the city of Salamanca, Spain. And remember that it's not you, it's U. Repitan, universidad.
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 Universidad. And repitan, Salamanca.
Salamanca.
Muy bien. Entonces tenemos ahora a Chandler. And Chandler, this is your subject. And you say, and it is a dictionary.
So since it's one, you would use es.
Excelente. Would you read it
Es
all?
un diccionario.
Es un diccionario. Muy bien. Rihanna, número 5. And notice how this is in parentheses. And I told you that anytime we have something in parentheses, whether I write it or it's here, it means it can be dropped. Why can it be dropped and we still know with the verb who we're talking about, but I'm gonna ask Rihanna to tell us what it is. What's the verb? Or the form or the verb rather?
Would it be can S?
S? Does this go with S, Rihanna?
That's like, no, it might be some.
Nope. It's up here at the top.
I don't know what can means is why.
It's who. So
Who.
can means who, and then this, but this is, even if you didn't understand who, then this is your subject right here.
You. Yeah, okay.
So it would be eres.
Oh.
Right? Clase, did you see that?
Sí.
Okay, and like when I presented this material in class, I told you that you must know who is who, which is quién. You know, quién means who. Quién es quién, and what forms of the verb they go with, because you have a whole section that is asking you to demonstrate that knowledge. So, repitan, ¿quién eres tú?
¿Quién
¿Quién eres tú?
But in this case, they don't even want you to say tú. They just want you to say this. Repitan, ¿quién eres?
¿Quién eres?
¿Quién eres?
And I told you that the reason we can drop the subject is because yo and tú have their own form of the verb. They do not share with anyone. They are very egocentric. Remember I told you that?
Yes.
All right. Número 6. William. That must be the easiest one, I think.
Soy.
Okay, say toda la oración, all of it.
Yo soy Héctor Camacho.
And the H is silent, so we start here. Héctor, repitan, Héctor.
Héctor.
All right, this one we're also gonna skip. You had something like this in your exercises. And all you have to do is pick the right one. Again, if you know your vocabulary. So which one would this one be?
Dos diccionarios.
Right. And so as you see, you just scroll down and you'll pick the right one. It's quite unchallenging in my humble opinion. And then we get to this one, which if you study your vocabulary and you've been doing your homework, shouldn't be a big deal. Basically, you just fill in the blanks, and it's somewhat fragmented too. You don't have whole entire expressions. So, so es and soy, gusto, nada, presento, estás, mío, nuevo, ser. So it's all vocabulary, page 38. And then we have Joaquin, a guy, and we have Eva. And eventually we're gonna meet Isabel, right? Which is Joaquin's sister, okay? So we're going back to DJ. And what do you think here? We're asking, ¿qué tal, Eva? How's it going? ¿Qué hay de? What word here in this bank could go in there? ¿Qué hay de? It's when we say, like in Spanish, we say, what's new? ¿Qué hay de?
Nuevo.
Sí, muy bien, nuevo. ¿Qué hay de nuevo? Nakaya. Then Eva says, what do you think she responds? ¿Qué hay de nuevo? Nakaya?
Gusto?
First here. So the question is asking what is new? What is there new?
Oh, maybe nada.
Be nada, right. Nada. And then let's have Cole. Cole, what could be the word in number 3?
¿Estás?
¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. And then, so if I were you, I would, of course you can't write on the screen, but I would like write a note crossing out the ones I've already used or something to focus on the ones that I haven't used. And so Joaquín está bien, gracias. And then Eva is looking at Joaquín's sister and she's asking something. She, something, your sister. And who's next? Casey Faber.
Yes.
Muy bien. Can you read it?
Ella es tu hermana.
Ella es tu hermana. And then we have Josie. ¿Cómo something llama? What are we missing there? She's asking what's her name. What are we missing there before llama?
Is it Mio?
No. Because llama is how does she call herself?
Is it se?
Se, muy bien. ¿Cómo se llama? And then we have Wesley. So by this point, Joaquin realizes he has been impolite, neglected to introduce, and now he's fixing the problem because he's saying, I introduced to you Isabel. Why do we put in there Wesley?
Presento.
Uh-huh. Would you read it all?
Te presento Isabel.
Ajá, te presento a Isabel. And then we have Jenny. What do we put en el número 7? Mucho
gusto.
Ajá, mucho gusto, Isabel. Mucho gusto, Isabel. And then Christopher. Isabel says,
Yo soy Eva.
yo soy Eva. Y Austin, what does Isabel say back? El gusto es
Mío.
mío. Preguntas, problemas. Questions, problems. Again, if you study your vocabulary, also strategizing, because let's say that you're not sure of a word where, you know, if you do go by process of elimination, that could help. I always tell my students, my millennials, you know, it shows my age because now we don't have millennials. We have, what is the next generation?
Gen Z.
Which one?
Gen Z.
Gen Z. So now I have millennials and Gen Zs. And I used to say that millennials were to be strategizers or had to be strategizers. And now to the Gen Zs, I'm telling you have to be strategizers on steroids. So you heard it from me first, never forget it. Why am I emphasizing on strategy? Because you know who you are, you know what you know what you're capable of when you sit down and take the test. So use your time wisely, use strategies that tap into those resources, that strategy that you have come to the exam with. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right, so the last one is simply a cognitive interpretation of a reading. You don't necessarily have to understand every single word. In fact, that's not the goal. The goal is reading interpretation. You are going to look at the questions first, or the statements first, and see what their information they're asking for. And then you're going to do the reading and figure out the answers. So, la número 1 es Sofía es de, so that's saying, is looking for the information of origin. Sofía is from, right? And then they translate the words that you don't know, that are key for you to know. So she lives in, right? So they want you to find that information. Then you have, ella is something of photography. Something, she does something with photography, right? Something to do with photography. Then Sophia's classes and the time. Then Sophia has hermanos. And you're probably going to say, well, I don't know what that means. Well, guess what? It's right here. Siblings, right? So siblings, and then her siblings are called Pablo and, so that's the information that you're looking for. And I'm gonna ask, who was next? Let's go with William, would you read the first sentence?
Oh, okay. Hola, me llamo Sofía.
Muy bien. DJ, the question, please. The next question. Say it out loud, please. And before she answers, I forgot a very key important thing. Before you do the reading, lectura doesn't mean lecture, it means reading. It's a false cognate. Read Sophia's blog entry. So you're reading Sophia's blog. And you're more familiar with blogs than I ever will be. Well, maybe not. I just haven't had time. So you're reading Sophia's blog. So far she's told you her name, and then what has she done here? What has she done here?
¿Cómo están?
Right. So she's asked, how are you? How are you all? And then, Nakaya, would you read this one?
Yo estoy muy bien.
How is she? How is she? She's very well.
Very
right?
good. Yeah.
Cole, can you read this one, please?
Gracias por entrar en mi blog.
So she's thanking us for what?
Reading her blog?
Reading her blog.
Right. And then this one, Casey Faber.
Yo soy de Puerto Rico, pero vivo en Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. So she's telling us her origin, but where she's now residing. Muy bien. Josie, this question.
¿De dónde son ustedes?
So what information is she asking from you all? Where are you all
From.
from? And muy bien. And then tenemos Wesley. Can you read this?
Yo soy estudiante de fotografía en la universidad.
Universidad. Recuerden.
Universidad.
Universidad. So right there, she's telling us what class. ¿Qué nos dice? ¿Qué información?
She's saying she's a student of photography at the university.
Excelente. Muy bien. So that was Wesley. Jenny.
Ustedes son estudiantes.
Estudiantes. So it's a question, so make that inflection. Ustedes son estudiantes. Christopher.
Mis clases son a las 3:30 y a las 5:30.
Excelente. Good job. Buen trabajo. And last but not least, Austin. No, we have two more. So Austin, the question.
¿Tienen hermanos?
¿Tienen hermanos? Do you have siblings? And then Emily, last sentence.
Yo tengo dos hermanos, Pablo y Mario.
Muy bien. So she does have siblings. She has two, Pablo y Mario. Entonces, Mark, Sofía es de...
Puerto Rico.
Ajá. Rebecca, ella vive en...
Los Ángeles.
Muy bien. Chandler, ella es...
Estudiante.
Ajá. De fotografía. Rihanna, las clases de Sofía son a las...
Is it asking about the time?
It's asking at what time they are, and let me move this silly, how do I get rid of this? Es a las, my classes are at 3:30 and at 5:30, so what do we need here?
Is it la noche? Or no, not noche, tarde.
It's just tres.
Tres? Oh, tres.
Right, 3.5 and 5.5, right? And then we have Aaron. No, Aaron is not here. William. Sofía tiene
Dos.
dos hermanos y DJ. Sus hermanos se llaman Pablo y Mario. Muy bien, muy bien. So that is your last item in the test. You will submit, right? And you have this same exam for homework assigned due tomorrow, and a quiz on vocabulary. It's gonna count as homework. So let me repeat this. This one is available for you to do it as homework. You have 4 attempts. The official exam on Thursday will have only 1 attempt, and it will be timed, and it will be letter F, and it will be extremely, it will have the same sections, same exact sections, different material, but you know, it could almost be a twin. It's not exactly a twin, but very much look alike, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? Look alike?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not
I have a question.
Sí, señor.
Do you know how much time we will have for the test?
I have yet to, and I apologize, at least I would say, you know why I do not have the exact time? Because in face-to-face, I usually give them extra time to the students who, you know, want to stay longer and revise. But because I'm trying to prevent unethical behavior, I'm going to be very, very careful as to, and I know this is not helping you right now, very careful to not give very little time, but yet not give too much time, so that there's more room for unethical behavior. Do we all know what unethical behavior is?
Yes.
So in other words, cheating.
Yeah.
Because you are not to rely on anything but the knowledge you acquired previous to the test. That's not going to be an issue. DJ, I know you have special circumstances, and I need to email you that, because I can't make special accommodations for just one person, but we'll talk about it over email, okay?
Okay. Is the test going to be on Vista or Blackboard?
On Vistas. On Vistas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question too.
Cole, go ahead.
So when we were doing the forms of sir, are we gonna use sois for vos somos? Oh, I can't say it now. Okay, good.
It's not gonna be in it. No. No.
And I had a question. Can we use our book or no?
No. No. Now, I'm not going to be there to check and see if you're using your book or not. I mean, this is the first lesson. We are going through very challenging times. To be honest with you, if I talk to any of my colleagues, they would tell me that they're stressed out. They would not be complaining, because the majority of my colleagues are very happy to extend themselves to do anything to help the students learn. And so we are going through a lot of stress, not just because of COVID, but many, many things are going on right now. And so because I couldn't quite work out all the bugs with Examity in time, I'm not going to use Examity. But we're not going to have this problem with chapter 2 and the others, because you're going to have to self-record. So my issue here is, if you want to engage in unethical behavior, that's your karma for this test. and I don't know how else to put it. Right? So all I have to say is that I will come up with a time that is good that gives you sufficient time and extra, but not too much time to, as some people say, tempt Satan. Have you ever heard that expression, tempt
Yeah,
Satan?
yes.
Does that make any sense? So Chandler, you were the one who asked, right?
Yes.
Be sure to know that you will have plenty of time to complete the exam, but not too much that you're like, oh, let me see, I'm not sure about that thing. Maybe I can Google it or something, right? Right?
Right.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because it will actually let me know. I'm pretty good at detecting, who performs, what the performance of my students, and I don't know you all quite well, but I can I have enough information by now to know if you do or don't, and there's no way that I can prove or disprove unethical behavior. So this test is going to be all on you, on your karma. All right?
Yeah.
But
I have a question.
It will be timed. Yes, ma'am.
So is it going to be, we can log on anytime till like midnight on Thursday?
Anytime, not on midnight. 11:59 is the magic hour on Thursday.
Yes, until midnight. We have until midnight.
Don't start the test at 11:40. Right?
No, I'll be in bed.
We won't have class that day, A, because you're going to need the time to put into the test, and B, most students don't want to hear any new material while they're being tested with old material. So, any other questions, you can email me or you can ask me now, because we're out of time. No?
Oh yeah. I got a question.
Okay.
Since my I just now today got access because my access thing, I was having trouble with the
Don't
transit.
worry.
Do you think I maybe take the test like Monday or something, since I haven't had access to it for like 10 days?
Oh, well, why don't you yeah, email me about that, because you haven't had access at all.
Well, I had access. Remember, you gave us the free
the
grace period, and then after that, I've been trying to buy the code, and my card wasn't working. So, yeah.
Let's talk on email, and maybe I can make an extension for you.
Okay.
All right. Any other things? Don't forget that you are students, and students study and students learn, and that's my goal. My goal is for you to learn, and if you're learning, then everything's good with the universe, because that's how it should be. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Hasta la vista, babies.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego, profe.
Ciao.